a lot of people that voted for President Trump, which is the majority of the country, a huge percentage of this country on the right side of history. And those that are on the left that are into more of the woke mind virus and that kind of thing, and against God, family, country, that kind of thing. Well, maybe one day they'll.
All right, guys, we're back here at the Coinzone. We have a live announcement Donald Trump will be making. All right, I got it shared here on the screen. You're looking at it. We'll see what the hell happens here. Supposedly, this is an announcement for a new production deal. Tim Cook and Apple were just seen waving at everybody, looking very nice and friendly. Supposedly, this is a announcement for Apple investment in the U.S. We'll see what Trump says. Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate y'all for joining. If you're not subbed on YouTube yet, please make sure to go do that for me. If you're watching on X, all 47 of you already, appreciate you guys. 48, 51, it's still coming in. 53. If you guys are not subbed to us, do that. Follow us on X. We'll see what the hell's happening here. Let's listen to this man who kind of reminds me of that one actor a little bit. The guy in The Hangover that shocked, what's his name, Zach Galifianakis with the thing. I don't know. He's a funny guy. Let's listen to what he's saying. President Trump will be speaking any minute now, so stay tuned. Let's get it.
In the future, we want to stay as the United States of America and with the United States Constitution. I know I repeat myself with that, but I have to sometimes because I'm not trying to talk some confusing narrative. It's the common sense narrative, and 1 + 1 = 2. And on the left-wing media, they'll swear by it. They'll say 1 + 1 = 3. There equals 3. And we all are waking up and being like, nah, you guys are lying. It's 2. 1 + 1 = 2. Thank you.
Okay, why this man does math in his head. Phenomenal. Thanks for the lesson, sir. We're just going to kick it here until Trump takes the podium. This guy is just kind of saying nonsense. So I will talk in place for him in the meantime until the image goes on this screen here at the White House and Trump announces this manufacturing plan. But in the meantime, guys, we've been taking a look at a lot of other things that are happening. Right now, the Fed, all right? All eyes are on Jerome Powell. All eyes are on the Trump administration and Donald Trump himself to pass this executive order for banks to stop hurting crypto firms, which is a serious thing. We saw Tyler Winklevoss comment on it this morning on X, quote tweeted something from CNBC. We need these regulations to come. We need this executive order to come here pretty soon. In the meantime, before Trump takes the podium, I'm going to go ahead and share something real quick. Let me find it first, but this is something I actually wanted to share because Paul Barron, the Paul Barron podcast, if you guys don't know him, he had a post about it that kind of breaks down this executive order. So maybe Trump will talk about that. We'll see. Still waiting for big guy to get on here. Pause. It sounded kind of weird. All right, but I'm gonna find this post real quick by Paul Barron, and here it is. So, all right, I'm gonna take this off the screen real quick, and then we're gonna put this on in a second, guys. Don't worry, I will be sharing the live stream back. We will be seeing Donald Trump speak, but in the meantime, I just wanted to play this or show this. So what is happening with this executive order? We already talked about JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. They're all cracking down. Choke point 3.0. We got to stop this from happening. So Paul Barron, finally, the crypto community has been banned from basic banking services for years while TradFi got away with everything. President Trump's executive order just changed the game. The war on crypto is over. That's David Sachs, crypto and AI czar. Also, David Sachs is on the All In podcast with Chamath Palihapitiya and a couple other guys from Wall Street. Very smart, very good podcast. You guys should listen to that. No more account closures for crypto businesses, discriminatory lending practices, and banks treating crypto like it's illegal, because it's literally not. We now have legislation now. Things are completely normal. Conduct business as usual. We've seen already an influx of companies that were offshore the past 4 years plus coming back to the United States. Banks will now have a clear framework to engage in crypto-related activities and partner with crypto companies without fear of regulatory retaliation. We fought for this. Absolutely, we did. Paul Barron, appreciate that. Very true what's going on there. Still no word of Donald Trump, unless I have a crappy stream. We're going to see what's going on here. In the meantime, if you guys want to take a look at everything that's going on here, I would suggest basically just giving us a sub here because we're going to be covering it in the meantime. Just checking on Bloomberg. Still nothing on Bloomberg's live stream. We're going to check out some other live streams in the meantime, see what's going on here with Donald Trump. Still haven't seen him take the podium. We're waiting for that. So, I mean, still a lot of positive legislation coming out. The Genius Act was just a couple weeks ago. We have the Clarity Act that's supposed to be coming out here in September. A lot of things to be bullish about, a lot of things to wait for. So again, guys, just trying to find the stream now because I don't see the president live. I'll just go ahead, stop sharing. I'll put this one back on the screen for all 200 and almost 70 of you guys. All right, so let's go back to this stream. In the meantime, I'll look for anything else. Listen in, guys. This guy, hopefully he's not doing math anymore. In the meantime, we'll wait for Donald Trump. Let's listen in and go from here.
Somebody tell me you don't like tap water. I don't like it. Ugh. But anyway, the best part of this is it has a touch screen that lets you choose whatever temperature you want. So cold, hot, warm. It couldn't be easier. If you happen to like fluoride, obviously that's totally fine. You can get that through toothpaste and mouthwash. But of course, the government should never force you to ingest it. So take back your right to choose here with this choice of water that's filtered versus tap water. Click below or go to the website as well, covepure.com/RSBN. And for a limited time only, you'll get a special discount of upwards of $200 off Cove Pure. So great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. 4:37 Eastern time. We know the president's public schedule listed that this event would start at 4:30. So tap dancing a little bit as we get ready to see the president. Also, again, we usually see the president's public schedule at night, and then we know the next day what sorts of coverage we'll have. If there isn't something that happens on a day, like on Monday, we'll bring in live interviews and just cover the latest news there within the conservative news sphere, if you want to call it that, sphere. So thanks again for joining us right now. So let's go to the latest from Fort Stewart in Georgia. This all happened around 11 this morning when a gunman shot five other soldiers. And the specifics that we know is that 5 soldiers were shot, but all are in stable condition. But let's go now to the press conference that lasted about 5 or 6 minutes out there in Fort Stewart, Georgia, for the latest.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. This morning, shortly before 11 o'clock, an active duty soldier assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop sharing and just go ahead and play Bloomberg in the meantime. Going to look at the markets, going to look at some things, because obviously this isn't really, very tragic what happened. I believe Trump will be announcing that or addressing that in his announcement. Yeah, very unfortunate, but we're obviously here for different reasons. We're waiting for him to take the podium live, discuss things that might impact the markets. So here in the meantime, why don't I just shift the game for us just for a little bit until we get on track here. So what's going on? I don't know, but let's listen to Bloomberg in the meantime. Hopefully go over some numbers, talk about the economy, what's going on in the markets, crypto, stocks, whatever it is.
President Trump ramps up tariff threats with India, pharma, and chips in his sights. A mixed bag of earnings adding to worries about the impact of tariffs and a slowing economy. Plus a Bloomberg scoop. OpenAI eyes a massive share sale as the AI showdown heats up. Katie, what are you watching?
I'm keeping an eye on shares of Disney right down, only about 1% lower in the pre-market. They were higher, though, initially after they raised full-year guidance on strong activity in parks and streaming. But conventional TV revenue disappointed. It also deepened ties with the NFL. We'll get into all the details coming up, Matt.
Yeah, ESPN, a big story for a lot of people watching. President Trump will announce that Apple is going to commit to spend another $100 billion on domestic manufacturing. That's the latest pledge by the tech giant to increase U.S. production of its products as it seeks to avoid punishing tariffs on its flagship iPhones. You can see the shares up 1 2/3% in the pre-market, Katie.
Yeah, interesting movement there. Let's bring in Bloomberg Tech co-host Ed Ludlow, who joins us now from San Francisco. Ed, there is an embarrassment of riches when it comes to tech news this morning. I want to talk about Apple, but I want to talk about AMD. We think back to what we heard from the company, a little bit of disappointment, and you can see that in shares lower by about 5% right now in the pre-market.
Yeah, so in the quarter that they just reported, their data center business is the key thing to watch. It was strong, but that's in part because even if there's some volatility around GPUs, AI accelerators that go into data centers, particularly around China, their CPU business really held up. The thing that the market's nervous about is that we know the situation with China has changed. They have a specific chip for that market called the MI308. And what they did not tell us was a prediction or an outlook of the pathway for sales to resume of that product. So we know where the White House and the administration stands, but what we don't have in their outlook or any communication from the company is what happens next. Because some of the most bullish names on the street think that China can represent billions of dollars of revenue for AMD next year and go to one extreme, but the company did not communicate that.
Okay, let's just pause there. I'm going to play something else. In the meantime, Trump still has not taken the podium. So what does that mean? We have time to kill. Let's have some fun, ladies and genties. One person I have not been able to escape this past week or so, I would say, probably over a week now. Gosh darn, this guy Tom Lee is everywhere, man. We covered a clip yesterday, him sitting down with Natalie Burnell yesterday. Natalie Burnell has a great YouTube channel, solely focused on Bitcoin, but she asked some great questions as to why ETH over Bitcoin. And one thing that is very interesting that I thought Tom Lee said, probably some other clips I'm going to make in regards to some of the stuff that Tom Lee said on this podcast. But one thing, and I know Virtual Bacon actually had a live stream this morning covering the same topic, I believe, as well. Shout out to him. Good channel there. But listen, are the 4-year cycles dead? This is what Tom Lee is saying. We've never seen BlackRock and these institutions in crypto before. It's never been like this. The billions of dollars, I mean, ETFs alone are swallowing up so much. I think ETFs now hold like 4% of the ETH supply, I believe is what it is. But let's just listen to Tom Lee. He thinks that the Bitcoin 4-year cycles are no longer going to be here. Michael Saylor also has a similar sentiment, saying like we're just going to be in a bull market, a prolonged bull market. We're not going to have a downward trend, right? What are we at? 115, whatever it is, 120, between that range right now. Bitcoin's price is. Are we going to drop down and see 80K again here shortly as Bitcoin corrects as it always does every 4 years? Are we going to drop back down to 60? I don't know. These two don't think so. Let's take a listen.
If someone wanted to understand the use case for Bitcoin, and there's many, but they're not too, they don't have a lot of conviction around something, to me, I could say easily it should play gold. And so I think Bitcoin should be, over 1 million over time. And then I kind of prescribing to the view that there's probably a chance that maybe the 4-year cycle's ending for Bitcoin because of the way institutional adoption of that thesis is taking place. And so you have institutional and essentially permanent holders of Bitcoin coming in. So it should be good. I mean, so I think Bitcoin should really build upon this 120 before the end of the year. So, 200,000, maybe 250.
Okay. So we've seen a million price predictions from everybody under the sun. Everybody under the sun. I mean, everybody's trying to give a price prediction on where they think Bitcoin's going to be in the next year, where they think Ethereum's going to be in the next year. Tom Lee also thinks that Ethereum could possibly take over Bitcoin at some point. It's going to outperform it. That's his pick over the next decade, not Bitcoin. I don't know. You guys let me know. Chat in the comments. All 371 of you guys currently on live with us right now, waiting for the orange man to take the podium at the White House. Orange and white. What a great combo. Freaking oranges and cream. Fire. Am I right? Let's get it. But you're here with me for a specific reason, because you want to know what the hell is going on. Are we just getting an Apple announcement? Are we getting an announcement about this executive order with the banks, choke point 3.0? What's going on here? We're waiting for Trump. It's now 15 minutes overboard, and I've just been rambling. If you guys like this, let me know. Sub to us on YouTube. Go check out our last video. We're actually talking about the Orange Man. Let me pull it up on the screen. Shameless plug it. Why the hell not? We got time to kill, ladies and gents. Our last video just came out today, and actually yesterday. Why am I on X? I'm supposed to be on YouTube. Sorry about that. I'm going to pull it up on the screen for you real quick. Our video just came out 1 day ago, and we already have a good amount of views. So that's pretty awesome. We still have some time to kill. Donnie J is not on the screen yet. But there's a lot to talk about. There is still a lot to talk about, guys. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Look at this. Go watch this video, guys. Not just because I'm telling you to, but because you're going to want to watch it until enough people watch it and something happens. All right, Donald Trump is buying a crap ton of ETH, guys. World Liberty Financial is buying a crap ton of ETH. If you're not watching what the President of the United States is doing, you probably should. There's other cryptos he's looking at as well. If you want to learn what other cryptos I'm talking about, you got to watch this video. So go ahead and do that for me. We're trying to get 1,000 views here. So help me out and do that. That would be phenomenal. I would love you guys forever. How does that sound? I'm not trying to creep you out, but I do appreciate it. Let's see. Donald Trump still has not taken any podium, but we're going to put that guy back on the screen who just continues to talk and reminds me of that guy from The Hangover. But here we are. Let's see what he's got to say. Couple minutes, I'm sure Donald Trump will take the stage. I'm going to play this audio again from RSBN. Maybe I'll find a different stream for you guys, and we'll go from there. Hang in there. We will see the Orange Man shortly.
Broadcasting Network. Of course, if you're just joining us, we've been on the air since 2:30. We've covered a lot of different stories, talked about a lot of different topics out there. We also had a great live interview earlier. So if you want to replay any of it, just for the freshest take or the latest take that we have here at Right Side, please go ahead and rewatch it. We know that a lot of you are already in the know, and that's what's cool about the information age. Whether you're on Truth Social or X or download our app, you start seeing, okay, well, here's a headline of a story, but we can also help to bring some context. We can bring you a live report when it comes to live press conferences, or in this case, the president here live any minute from now. So that is what RSBN Live is all about. And my name is Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for streaming in with us since 2:30 Eastern time. It's now 4:48. So as soon as we see the Commander-in-Chief, we'll take you there live. All right, so we talked about a lot of stories. Let's go to X again, and then we'll go to Truth Social.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing this and share a different stream. I'm going to put that Bloomberg stream back on because I want to, they're talking about what I was just talking about in regards to the, hold on, I got to get this other thing off the screen here. Yeah, let's take a listen in. I want to talk about this executive order. So let me get this one going. And I'm going to mute this one. Okay, so let's put this audio back up. I want to talk about the executive order, what Trump is doing with the banks, Russian tariffs. There's a whole lot going on right now. Bloomberg is going to cover it. We're going to take a look at it right now in the meantime before Trump takes the podium. Let's listen in.
As we do know that at least on the trade talk front with India, those have sort of gone off the rails when it comes to come to the negotiating table, as it and Putin didn't.
Kendall, our Washington correspondent, talking to us about what we know so far. We saw the draft of the executive order on, I guess there's a White House Twitter account called Rapid Response 47. It's mostly attacks on political opponents, but also they released the draft of the executive order there. Coming up, expanding retail access to private markets. We're going to analyze the convergence between public and private.
All right, so we just kind of looked at the details when it comes to the executive order. Paul Barron, we just looked at that tweet. So we'll get them back on. Commercial break's over. Let's see what Bloomberg has to say if they're going to talk about it right now. We might see this Apple announcement too. They're going to cover Tim Cook. We'll see what Trump says. But still, guys, appreciate you sticking with us on the stream here. Donald Trump has still taken the podium. So let's stick around in the meantime. I'm going to play this Bloomberg clip on what's going on with this executive order or with Apple. In the meantime, let's get it.
The tech giant to increase U.S. production of its products as it seeks to avoid punishing tariffs on its flagship iPhone. Remember, they already promised $500 billion in the next 4 years. A long-feared change to Wall Street's plumbing is paying off, and it's freeing up billions of dollars. Over a year after the U.S. adopted the one-day settlement, a key measure of the corporate bond trading costs is down 12%, according to Barclays. The shift to T+1 was born of meme stock chaos when a wave of settlement failures exposed the dangers of delay. But it turns out to be saving a lot of money for credit markets. Europe is slated to follow in 2027. And Carlyle pulled off a string of private equity exits in the second quarter. That helped lift earnings during a stretch when some of its buyout rivals struggled to sell out of bets profitably. The results show that investors are finding ways to squeeze cash out of investments, even as tariff uncertainty and deal valuations delay the industry's revival.
Yeah,
Molly?
and it's really interesting. You're seeing Carlyle ahead of the pack this year. They were trading at a tougher place, let's say, in the last couple of years, but this year up 22%, whereas many others, KKR, Apollo, all lower on the year. We're going to dive further into the realm of private markets. We are joined now by Achilles Global founder and CIO, Sachin Kajuria. Achilles Global is a private investment firm operating in public and private markets. And Sachin, you spent a lot of time at Apollo yourself before leaving and founding Achilles. What's going on here? You look at the negativity behind the stocks of these major alternative asset managers. This was the flavor of the decade, it feels like, for the financial industry. Why are investors so negative on these assets?
So it's good to be back. Look, I think long term, we're in the early stages of a super cycle for private markets, and that's driven by democratization, and it's driven by demand that's coming from demographics. But in the near term, it's not going to be an easy ride. So if you look long term, you're finding that demographics are powering the needs of retirees. There are more retirees, they're getting older, and they need diversification in their portfolios. And private markets products are a way to provide that. That's why you're seeing the convergence between public and private markets. It's a way to innovate, to create new products, to feed this need. And of course, the biggest...
All right, just tap it in real quick. If you guys just joined the live, we're still waiting for Donald Trump to take the podium. We're watching Bloomberg in the meantime. Sachin Kajuria. I mean, we're listening on what's going in on the private and the public markets. Just in the meantime, see what's going on here. If I find anything else interesting to kill the time, I will pull it up. But again, guys, if you just joined us, make sure to sub on YouTube. Go watch our last video about Trump and Ethereum. And stick around, because I'm sure he will take the podium here soon. There is a big announcement that we are all waiting for. So stick around. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
I imagine.
Listen, I want to pull on two threads there, Sachin. Number one, the demographics. Are we getting more retirees? And when does that start to reverse, right? Because the baby boomers are going to start exiting. And number two, getting into 401ks for these private assets, it's got to be great for the industry because you don't need the liquidity in your 401k, right?
So first of all, demographic, it's global, right? So that's why you're seeing private markets firms being able to raise private credit funds and deploy capital, not just here in the United States, but also in Europe and around the world. And I think the overall demographic trends are very positive. If you look at individual retirement accounts, they're used to paying relatively low fees, a few basis points for daily liquidity, daily index funds. But, the performance is not always great, and certainly it's not diversified. And so the idea really is to add private markets products into that, diversify those portfolios. And, you're looking at $5-6 trillion of AUM, which would come in. And that's really, I think, the big prize for these firms.
But what are they going to be actually acquiring for these plans? Is it more private credit? Is it this infrastructure, real estate kind of play that you're seeing so many of these firms get into? Because to the point that you're making, private equity has been sitting on assets for what feels like forever, right?
So if you take private equity, the issue is the vintage. It's the vintages which are kind of either side of the pandemic. Those where you get, a toxic mix, really a difficult mix of issues. You have write-downs, you have a tough exit.
Yeah, let me just stop him right there. Private equity is coming to your 401k. No one cares. You know what else is coming to your 401k? Crypto. This is the bigger story. And this is what the president's talking about. It's fine right here. We get it. But it's not even the bigger story. If you want to talk about numbers and retirement accounts, don't even open a 401k, open a Roth or something of that nature. And the top and highest performing ones all had crypto in it. There's just no way around it. The S&P went up, 10%, 7 to 10% year on average. My Bitcoin Roth is up close to 200% in the past 2 years. So there's no comparison, guys. And we're just getting started here. Now there's green lights for all these institutions to offer this. We're already seeing what BlackRock is doing. Fidelity has been mining Bitcoin since 2015. That's 10 years now. They're very well positioned. So I now have Forbes breaking news up, waiting for Donald Trump live to the podium. Nothing seems to be happening. Maybe he's just chilling, drinking some Diet Coke somewhere, having a fight with Elon, or maybe talking to Melania. I don't know what's going on. Bro is just absent. Maybe he's getting his hair combed over. Who knows? The guy could be doing anything. It's Donald Trump. I wouldn't put it past him. But, ladies and gentlemen, you have to sit here and listen to my ass ramble. And I'm trying to keep it real with you. Again, if you didn't watch our last video, go do that. Trump is buying a lot of Ethereum. I'm very curious to see if he's going to make an announcement during this speech about the choke point 3.0 situation. We covered this morning, our first live stream. 42 banks tried to block Ripple from getting their banking license. Why? Because they're threatened. This is insane. It's like Uber. It's like taxis. It's like 42 taxi companies coming together to try to block Uber from becoming an app. This is just innovation. It's where the world's going. You can't stop it. Jamie Dimon's at the forefront of this. Citibank. It's nonsense, guys. It's just nonsense. And unfortunately, we have to sit here and deal with it. So with this executive order, I'm curious to see what the details are. In the meantime, I'm going to go back and play this from Bloomberg. We're waiting patiently for Trump. Let's keep it going.
The issue really is the geopolitical risks and the policy uncertainty. So, I would expect some kind of correction or pullback, but unless the economy rather than slows down, unless it just stalls, I wouldn't expect more than a modest pullback in valuations.
All right, Sachin, great having you on the program. Hope to get you back soon. Sachin Kajuria there, Achilles Global founder and CIO, talking to us about public and private markets. Still ahead, his alma mater, Apollo, capitalizing on booming demand for digital infrastructure. We'll have details on the firm's data center deal later this hour. This is Bloomberg Open Interest.
All right, let's just keep it moving here.
Imagine
in a second when they come back, they're going to talk about the 4 possible names. Trump mentioned 4 names of who could fill this open role at the Fed. And then possibly one of those 4 names could maybe even replace Jerome Powell. But let's see what happens.
Who's already in government, who's already been confirmed to something, so it would make it much easier.
First of all, we have 4 meetings left before the end of the year. Well, I guess 3. September 17th, that's going to be the next time Jerome speaks. Everybody's anticipating that he's going to lower the rates. If he doesn't, I'll be surprised. And then October 29th, December 10th, we'll see what happens.
I don't know why she left, right? President Trump suggests it's because somehow it's because he agrees with her on rates. No. That's his suggestion, at least. But I've heard him say it at least twice.
But her recent speeches, including the last one that she gave in the middle of July before she missed the July Fed meeting for personal reasons, said that it was still time to hold.
Well, also, if she agreed with him, she wouldn't necessarily leave. She would just dissent, right? And then I'm puzzled by the term temporary. So her term is set to expire January 2026, in a few months from now.
Yes.
Does the president, is it his choice to appoint someone to temporarily fill her seat, or could he somehow pick someone that's going to have a longer term to fill her seat?
Right. What happens to the temporary?
Isn't temporary the only way he can?
No, you can't do a temporary recess appointment as they do in a number of other categories, and the president has done quite often with the people that he's firing lately. That doesn't apply to the Fed. So the only thing they can do is nominate somebody and get them confirmed. And then the question is, how fast do they get them confirmed? And then their term would expire at the end of January. And that
so temporary is the only way you fill this seat right now.
Well, he could nominate somebody that he tells the Senate he would like to nominate again, and they could do both nominations at the same time for the remaining 4 months and for the next 14-year term. They would also, if that person were to his choice for chair, they'd have to be confirmed a third time. All of that, in theory, could be handled sort of at the same time.
Right. How likely is it that they do that? Because that is a scenario Bessent has said could happen before.
Well, the problem is, according to the people that Anne-Marie and Saleha are talking to, that the president hasn't decided yet on who he wants to be the chair. And so it might make it better for him to have more time to think about it. Now, their story says that he is meeting with his aides today to talk about this. So we could get some sort of official announcement on the president's timetable, which is by the end of the week.
Right. I mean, he said on Sunday at Andrews, he would do it in the next couple of days. And then last night he said from the White House that he would do it by the end of the week.
Yeah, well, there's a lot riding on this for Wall Street because the idea of who will chair the Fed next is very important. Who takes Kugler's seat on a short-term basis isn't really important. The chair is the rest of the Board of Governors, until Mickey Bowman and Chris Waller decided last time, has voted along with the chair every time since Powell's become the chairman. And so it's unlikely that this person would disagree with the chair. And by that, I mean, there's a very good chance that Powell would vote for a rate cut in September, too, if the data keep going the way they are. And with only 2 dissenters now, even if he didn't, that would make 3. That's a difficult position for the Fed chair, except that he's leaving anyway. So I'm not sure what you
leaving
get.
as chair, not necessarily leaving.
I'm not sure what you get other than you get the full complement of people voting, but it isn't going to change any decisions, and that person will get to speak at the Fed meeting. But as somebody who is just coming in, would they carry enough influence to change anybody's mind?
Boy, it's time to sharpen your pencils on Fed technicalities.
Yeah, it really is time to start looking.
That's why they pay me the little bucks here to read through the Federal Reserve Act.
That's why we love bothering you, Michael McKee.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Michael McKee there, Bloomberg's international economics and policy correspondent, talking to us about President Trump filling this seat, as he said he was going to, by the end of the week. Coming up, President Trump ramps up his tariff blitz.
And then American taxpayers are then called upon to pay for the weapons that have to defend Ukraine against Russian armaments paid for by American dollars that came from India. That's got to stop. That math doesn't work. The president understands the connection between economic security and national security. So that was the bottom line there. Second thing, totally unrelated. I want to talk to you.
Okay, guys, still nothing from Trump. I don't know what the hell this guy's doing, but we've been waiting for over 30 minutes. Are we even getting an announcement? Was this all cap? Are we all being played? Probably not, but I'm curious as to see what's going on, because you guys want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. Are we just getting an Apple update? What's going on? Supposedly Trump to announce a new production deal. That's great. We saw Tim Cook before. They gave us a little sneak peek. So we're patiently waiting. I don't know who this guy is on the screen, but I don't really care about what he's saying. I just want to talk about the markets. What are we going to wait for? There's Caitlin Collins on the screen. Yay, CNN, we love fake news. Wonderful, guys. Chat, let me know in the comments if you're here watching, all 438 of you. I'm freaking bored, guys. Interact with me, please. All right. Let me know what you guys are looking at altcoin season. What's going on in the markets? Positive things. Green candles today. Why don't we take a look at that in the meantime? I'm going to pull up Coinbase. We're going to have a little fun here. I spent a deep dive last night for an hour plus just digging and doing research on certain projects, certain things that were exciting me, certain things that kind of caught me by surprise. I'm not gonna lie. I want to know what you guys are looking at right now. If you were with us, you saw some of the clips that I've done on YouTube and X and social media the past couple of days. Obviously, we saw some red days in the week. I believe ETH was down on the week. Yeah, we're still down on the week, 2.33%. But let's see what Bitcoin is down on the week. 1%. All right, so that's flip-flopping a bit. The point is, very recently, hold on, we have Benjamin. Two Benjamins. Is that the same Benjamin? Watching, let's see, Benjamin, what are you saying here, big guy? Watching XYO. What are your thoughts about their layer 1 dropping? XYO. Honestly, let's see. I'm not even too sure about XYO. Tons of layer 1s, tons of use cases. So let's check out XYO, number 288 by market cap. XYO is the original DPIN. Interesting. It was built to create a fully trustless oracle for Web3 and Web2 users. The XYO token powers the XYO ecosystem. All time, this thing has been around for a minute. And last cycle, 2021, we saw some nice price appreciation. I mean, this chart looks pretty decent to me. It looks like we have, and this was in the November time. Any of the cryptos that spiked in that November 2024 region, when Trump took over, we had a lot of bullish news happening, and there were cryptos that spiked right here, like something like Polkadot, for example. Everyone's been talking about Polkadot. Is Polkadot dead? What's going on with Polkadot? I think it got to $50 in that 2021 range, but it didn't spike like this in November. And it's for me at least, I'm looking at the coins that did this in November. So this is an interesting play. Benjamin, I appreciate the comment. I'm going to look further into this in my spare time. 24-hour volume, 7 mil. That's tiny. Circulating supply, all-time high. Market cap's 135 mil. That's, wow, a lot of room for growth here. This project has been around since 2018. So just looking at it for the first time here, Benjamin, my thoughts early are, if it's been around for this long, 2018, and it's still doing its thing here. We can see from just looking at this chart, you will see the congruencies and the consistencies. If I pull up any other charts of something that looks like it can have another all-time high just based on its performance. I don't know anything about the community. I don't know really anything about the product itself. So these are all questions that need to be answered. But man, this is very interesting. And you are right. We have two different Benjamins. Benjamin Button. We're all getting Benjis here today. Not physical hundreds, but crypto hundreds. You guys know how it is. Let's get it. It smells amazing in here. My girlfriend just made coffee. If you guys are coffee drinkers out there, let me know. That's what we're doing. That's what we're looking at. I'm going to go take a look. Nope. Still no Trump. Bro's dodging us. Okay. Now we have more time to look at the markets here on Coinbase. So let's just do that instead. But speaking about Polkadot, let me pull up Polkadot for you because I was taking a look at it last night. And I'm hearing the sentiment. This was created by Gavin Wood, co-founder of Ethereum. Just take a look, guys. What's going on here? Okay, Trump might be taking the podium. And is that what's happening? Let me see here. I'm getting word that Donald Trump is speaking live. Yes, sir. All right, guys, we're going to go switch to this instead. Looks like Trump is about to enter the room. We'll talk about Polkadot later. Let's put Trump on the screen front and center, guys. What we've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. What will Donald Trump announce? We'll find out after the break. I'm just kidding. We'll find out right now. Sorry. See Scott Besson on the screen. There's Howard Lutnick to the right of him. The audio is dimming in and out. That means there's a lot of commotion, a lot of noise. We see Ronald Reagan. This is the Oval Office. We're getting very close. Donald Trump will be walking out here shortly. Just to remind you guys, Howard Lutnick, along with Trump, wants to give Americans $600 because of tariff revenue. So this is different than a stimmy check. This is not money printed to give to you guys. This is collected from revenue. So do you guys want $600 for free? I'm sure we all do. We're getting very close. President Trump delivers remarks from the Oval Office. We are live streaming Forbes breaking news. Scott Besson, Howard Lutnick sitting there talking. We're just commenting on it, waiting for Trump. Bro's taking his sweet time. I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe Barron had an accident. Who knows? Shout out to Barron Trump, too. Barron Trump he's the reason why Trump did a lot of these podcasts. Barron Trump, I saw, was doing a live stream with Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross asked Barron Trump for a loan, and Barron Trump said he would give it to him in Ethereum. And I want to say that because our last video, again, guys, you're going to hear me drive this home into your brains. Our last video was about Donald Trump and ETH. Their family is going all in on crypto. I want to play a clip later on today for our last live stream of the day after this one of Donald Trump Jr., who was just on the Squawk Box, CNBC, and discussed, well, they got into crypto because the banks basically told them to go F themselves. So, I mean, the entire Trump family, guys, are all in on crypto. 50% of Trump's net worth is in crypto. Like, let me just say that again. 50% of the President of the United States net worth is in crypto. And this is a guy who was a real estate mogul for decades. He's got over $5 billion. All right, net worth is over $5 billion. Half of that is crypto. That's insane. And he did that in less than 2 years. So that's where things are turning. And we're still waiting. God damn. I could have been on Coinbase still. Maybe we'll go back because Trump still isn't here. But the detail in this Oval Office, the gold everywhere, that's fire. That's what I want my office to look like. What do I have to do? I got to be the president to have an office like this? Jesus, I don't want that job. That sounds like a horrible job. We'll talk about it. Maybe I'll get it some other way. Benjamin, we appreciate you. I'll take any sort of stimmy in ETH or BTC. 100% agree with you. And here comes President Trump, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to shut up. Let's listen to what he has to say.
You know this gentleman, one of the truly great legends of our time, my book. Before we begin, I'd like to say a few words about the shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia. As you know, 5 people were seriously wounded and 2 very, very seriously hurt around 11 o'clock this morning. The shooter is now in custody, and the Army Criminal Investigation Division is on site to ensure that the perpetrator of this atrocity, which is exactly what it is, will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The entire nation is praying for the victims and their families, and hopefully they'll fully recover, and we can put this chapter behind, but we're not going to forget what happened. We're going to take very good care of this person that did this horrible person. This afternoon, we're pleased to welcome to the White House one of the great and most esteemed business leaders and geniuses and innovators anywhere in the world, Apple CEO Tim Cook. Amazing job. Thanks as well to Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick for being here, wherever you may be. Oh, there you are. Hello, fellas. I missed you. Today, Apple is announcing that it will invest $600 billion, that's with a B, in the United States over the next 4 years. That's $100 billion more than they were originally going to invest. And this is the largest investment Apple has ever made in America and anywhere else. And it's just an honor to have you. As you know, Apple's been an investor in other countries a little bit. I won't say which ones, but a couple. And they're coming They're coming home. $600 billion. It's the biggest there is. The company is also unveiling its ambitious new American manufacturing program, which will bring factories and assembly lines across our country, all roaring to life. Areas that were not doing so well are doing very well. We have about $17 trillion coming into the United States, which is more than ever before. That's never even come close. There's never been anything like it. Even you, that's even a lot of money for you. But we have commitments of more than $17 trillion. That was as of a couple of weeks ago. These investments will directly create more than 20,000 brand new American jobs and many thousands more at the Apple suppliers like Corning, Broadcom, Texas Instruments, and Samsung, who all deal in that world. As part of this historic commitment, Apple will massively increase spending on its domestic supply chain for the iPhone and will build the largest and most sophisticated smart glass production line in the world in Harrodsburg, Kentucky, which is a great, actually, I did very well there. I like it because I see I did very well there. I did very well in Kentucky, but it's a great place. You're going to be very happy. I thought maybe while we're up, I'll interrupt my own speech by, you might show them a little bit about the product that you're going to be doing in Kentucky, Tim. Yes, please.
This design was made in the U.S., California, and this glass comes off the Corning line. It's engraved for President Trump. It's a unique.
Someone give the man a damn microphone.
Designed by a U.S. Marine Corps corporal, a former one that works at Apple now.
He's done well.
Designed it for you. And the base comes from Utah and is 24 karat gold. And it sits, I'll take the liberty of setting it up.
Wow.
Well, let's see. There we go. Congratulations,
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
President.
It's
Thank you
fantastic.
so much.
Great people of Kentucky. You know, a great place to do business. These things now in the United States instead of other countries, faraway countries. This is a significant step toward the ultimate goal of ensuring that iPhones sold in the United States of America also are made in America. With the mass infusion of capital it's announcing today, Apple will also build a 250,000 square foot server manufacturing facility in Houston and invest billions of dollars to construct data centers across the country from North Carolina to Iowa to Oregon. That's big stuff. Apple will also open state-of-the-art manufacturing economy. It's going to be a manufacturing academy in Detroit, and that's a great place to do. You know, big things are happening in Michigan and Detroit. They're coming in because of what we've done with the
automobile.
I call it the great big beautiful bill. I added one word, great. But we have probably the biggest, most comprehensive piece of legislation ever passed. It's going to mean unbelievable numbers of jobs and no jobs on, think of this, whether it's tips or overtime or Social Security, no tax. So no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. And there's just a small bit of it. For Apple and others businesses, we're talking about the deductions and all of the things. And actually for people that go out and buy a car, first time it's ever been done, we talk about deductions for companies, but they're going to be able to deduct interest when they borrow money to buy a car if it's made in America. It has to be made in America. So it is amazing. And one of the reasons I think I can say that Apple's coming here is the legislation we just passed with this kind of investment. Apple will also open other facilities, rare earth magnets from Texas, and build. Oh, I love that you're doing this. I love that. I love that. And build a brand new rare earth recycling line in Mountain Pass, California. I know that area. That's where they have a lot of truly rare earth. That's fantastic. I love that. And Apple will help develop and manufacture semiconductors and semiconductor equipment in Texas, Utah, Arizona, and New York. For years, Americans have watched as many of our leading tech giants built their factories overseas and exported American jobs abroad. But under the Trump administration, are doing everything possible to make this the best place on earth to build a factory or grow businesses. I'm allowing them to build electric producing plants with their factory, because otherwise they'd have to hook into the grid. And I think it's one of the biggest things we've done, where you can build, Tim, your own electricity. You become your own electric manufacturer, and that goes along with the plant. So you become a utility. So congratulations, now you're in the utility. I hope they don't value your company based on utility, but that's okay. You're going to be making your own electricity. And as you probably know, for much of this and many of the things that we're doing, especially the AI, they would need actually double the electricity that the country now produces for everything. So it's massive electric, and they're going to be able to make their own, and they're getting very fast approvals. Lee Zeldin is doing a fantastic job, including with a 100% expensing on the one big beautiful bill. In return, we're asking our businesses to invest in America, and they're coming in at levels that we've never seen before. So I don't know when it shows up, but there are a lot of factories and a lot of plants that are either under construction or soon will be starting construction. So can't tell you exactly when, but I want to be around in about a year from now and 2 years from now, because we're going to see an explosion, I think, like this country has never seen before. Never. Today's announcement is one of the largest commitments in what has become among the greatest investment booms in our nation's history. And we've got the hottest country anywhere in the world. You know, I told you the story that, and Tim, I'll tell you, but I went to the Middle East, and I was with Qatar, I was with UAE and the King of Saudi Arabia, all great leaders. And then I went to NATO and saw many great leaders, and we just finished that about 4 weeks ago. Virtually everyone said, in effect, that we were a dead country 1 year ago. America, this was a dead country. We were dying, we were dead. And now you've got the hottest country anywhere in the world. This would have never happened except for certain people. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. NVIDIA is investing $500 billion to go along with Apple, $600 billion. $600 billion. Micron, great company, is investing $200 billion. IBM is investing more than $150 billion. SoftBank is investing substantially more than $100 billion. TSMC is investing $200 billion. Johnson & Johnson, $55 billion. Merck, Stellantis, and General Motors are putting many, many billions in. They haven't determined the final number. And many other countries are investing tens of billions of dollars. And I'm not going to give you the whole list because the list is too long to read. But it's hundreds of billions and even trillions. I mean, it's trillions of dollars is being invested right now. Last week, it was announced that our economy grew at 3% in the second quarter, and consumer confidence is surging. Blue-collar wages are rising rapidly. Costs are way down. You know, I listen to these horrendous frauds on CNN and various other
Come on, son.
Fake news networks, and they say costs are up. No, costs are down. Gasoline is down. It's going to soon, I believe, be less than $2 a gallon. It's around $2.40 right now, many places other than California where they tax you out of business, but and a couple of others. But gasoline is way down. The price of groceries are down. How about eggs? When I first came here, my first week, the press hit me very hard on eggs. Eggs had quadrupled or something. I said, I didn't know about it. Give me a chance. I've just been here for 4 days. Well, eggs are down. Everything's down. Price is down. The only thing that's up is stock prices. That's really up, and that's through the roof. The stock market has been hitting all-time records, all-time highs. Last week, it was announced that our economy grew at levels that we haven't seen in a long time. But the real levels of growth are going to be judged in a year from now when you start seeing some of these incredible plants, because we have car plants opening. They're coming in from Canada, from Mexico, and from all over the world. And they're coming in because they like the way the election worked out, but they also like the fact that they don't want to pay tariffs. And the tariffs, I think, we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. I won't be so specific other than to say, because we don't even know what the final number is. We just made a deal, as you know, with the EU, where they're paying hundreds of billions of dollars. Japan paying hundreds of billions of dollars, and numerous other countries paying hundreds of billions of dollars. And we're not even completed there. And as you know, they found 25 billion 3 weeks ago. They said, we have a surplus of $25 billion. And they said, where did this come from? I said, check the tariffs. And they checked. They said, you're right. That's where it came from. And we've really just started. This is just in its infancy. So we have a great country. We have a country that is going to be very rich. It's a country that we're very proud of, but it's going to be very rich. And it's companies like Apple, they're coming home. They're all coming home. And we want them to come home. They have to come home. We're going to treat them really well. We're going to be putting a very large tariff on chips and semiconductors. But the good news for companies like Apple is if you're building in the United States or have committed to build, without question committed to build in the United States, there will be no charge. In other words, we're not going to be charging. So a lot of countries, a lot of companies are leaving various other places and they're coming to the United States. So in other words, we'll be putting a tariff on of approximately 100% on chips and semiconductors. But if you're building in the United States of America, there's no charge, even though you're building and you're not producing yet in terms of the big numbers of jobs and all of the things that you're building. If you're building, there will be no charge. So I just want everyone to know that. And I didn't even tell you that inside. We discussed the concept, but I didn't. So it's a big factor. So 100% tariff on all chips and semiconductors coming into the United States. But if you're in the process of building, as many are, there is no tariff. Okay? If for some reason you say you're building and you don't build, then we go back and we add it up, it accumulates, and we charge you at a later date. You have to pay, and that's a guarantee. So that's a big statement. And I think the chip companies are all coming back home. They're all coming back. You know, we started with Intel, and gradually Intel was just taken over the coals. They were taken to the cleaners, frankly, and moved to other places, in particular Taiwan. But I think a lot of those companies are coming back, and they're coming back very rapidly. So that's a big statement. 100% tariff. I want to thank you very much. Tim, would you like to say a few words about your company, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. President, thank you very much for having me here today. You've been a great advocate for American innovation and manufacturing, and I'm grateful for your leadership and your commitment. That's a commitment we share at Apple because American innovation is central to everything we do. Our products are designed here, we're hiring and growing here, and we support 450,000 jobs with thousands of suppliers and partners in all 50 states. Earlier this year, we made our largest ever spending commitment, $500 billion to the US over the next 4 years. That's already yielding results. Earlier this year, we broke ground on a new factory in Houston to make advanced AI servers. And just last month, the very first test unit rolled off that factory's line, proudly made in America. President Trump shared some kind words about that work, but he also asked us to think about what more we could commit to doing. And Mr. President, we took that challenge very seriously. I'm glad to be here with you today, and I'm very proud to say that today we're committing an additional $100 billion to the United States, bringing our total U.S. investment to $600 billion over the next 4 years. As a part of this, we're launching Apple's American Manufacturing Program. It will spur even more production right here in America for critical components used in Apple products all around the world. And we're thrilled to announce that we've already signed new agreements with 10 companies across America to do just that. First, with today's announcements, I'm proud to say that Apple is leading the creation of an end-to-end silicon supply chain right here in America, from design to equipment to wafer production to fabrication to packaging. In Texas, we're working with manufacturers like Texas Instruments, Global Wafers America, and Applied Materials. We're working with Amcor in Arizona and Broadcom and Global Foundries in New York. Thanks to President Trump's vision, and with his help in his first term, we also led the way to bring TSMC to Arizona by committing to be their first and largest customer. Today, they're producing tens of millions of chips for Apple using one of the most advanced process technologies in America today. We're going to keep working with our suppliers to move even more of this incredibly advanced work to America. And this year alone, American manufacturers are on track to make 19 billion chips for Apple in 24 factories across 12 different states.
Holy shit.
Second, we're committed to buying.
Hold on a second. I gotta. What did he just say?
19 billion chips. American manufacturers are on track to make 19 billion chips for Apple.
American manufacturers are on track to make 19 billion chips, he said, in the US. Is that really what he just said? Hold on a second.
Are on track to make 19 billion chips for Apple in 24 factories across 12 different states. Second, we're committed to buying American-made advanced rare earth magnets developed by MP Materials, which will become part of Apple's devices shipped around the world. MP is the only fully integrated rare earth producer in the United States, and with this partnership, they'll be significantly expanding their flagship facility in Fort Worth, Texas. We're also thrilled to work together on a cutting-edge rare earth recycling line in Mountain Pass, California. And third, in Kentucky, we've worked with our partners at Corning to build the world's largest and most advanced smartphone glass production line. And I'm pleased to announce that very soon, this is for the first time ever, every single new iPhone and every single new Apple Watch sold anywhere in the world will contain cover glass made in Kentucky. In addition to the American manufacturing program, we're also significantly growing our investments in AI, including expanding data center capacity in North Carolina, in Nevada, in Iowa, in Arizona, and Oregon. So we're going to keep making investments right here in America. We're going to keep hiring in America. And we're going to keep building technologies at the heart of our products right here in America. Because we're a proud American company, and we believe deeply in the promise of this great nation. Thank you all, and thank you, President Trump, for putting American innovation and American jobs front and center. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
What a job he's done. What a job. Incredible.
What a job he's done.
I want to thank you very much, and thank you, JD, for helping along. Good job.
JD.
Really good job. Any questions, please?
Mr. President,
yes.
You promised on the campaign trail to bring forth a manufacturing renaissance. You just mentioned $17 trillion in your first 7 months or so.
Right.
Can you talk about how an investment like this, all the other ones that you laid out, will positively impact the millions of Americans that trusted you with their vote?
Thank you very much. It changes our country. I mean, our country is a very different country than it was 6 months ago. And people like Tim are coming. We had Micron in yesterday. We had all of the big, great companies that you read about, you don't know about, but you read about. Many of them were making products outside of our country. Foolishly, we lost them. If we had the right person sitting in that seat, that would have never happened 20 and 30 years ago. When you look at the chip business, it would have never left our shores. We had 100% of chips originally, and then we slowly got taken down to nothing. We have the biggest chip companies, the both of them, but we have the biggest in the world coming in. They're going to Arizona and beyond. And we're going to have, in a short period of time, we'll be up to almost 50% of the chips from starting in nothing. And that's something. But we have the greatest companies in the world coming into our country, and that means jobs, and it means wealth, and wealth means security for our people. Okay, Brian.
Yes, sir. Congratulations on this investment, President Trump. And
Thank you.
With a great example of putting America first. What does the labor force look like to fill these jobs that you have? Do we have enough skilled American workers to fill these?
Well, we do have a lot of workers, and we have a lot of workers that hadn't been looking for work because they were disincentivized, frankly. And
all right, as they talk about the labor force, we're going to need people to do jobs. We're going to need people to work in assembly lines, production lines, etc. But let me just recap. I wrote down a bunch of things on what was just said by Donald Trump and Tim Cook. This is freaking insane. First off, over the next 4 years, $600 billion Apple is investing into the United States. So far, investments into the US, whether it's from Japan, the EU, the UAE, Donald Trump has brought in $17 trillion. That is freaking insane. Okay, the biggest assembly line in Harrisburg, Kentucky to make smartphone cover glass for all Apple products. Tim Cook just said, any Apple product that has a glass screen on it, which is like all their shit, anywhere in the world is going to be made in Kentucky. Big factory in Houston, advanced AI servers. Arizona is seeing a massive influx in warehouse for chip making. TC, Texas Instruments, producing chips. That's in Arizona, like I just said. Johnson & Johnson, Merck, General Motors, all giving hundreds of billions of dollars. Car manufacturers starting to set up factory here in the United States. The economy grew 3% last quarter. Trueflation is at 1.62%. Jerome Powell still did not lower the freaking rates. What else? State-of-the-art manufacturing academy in Detroit. That's huge. That's going to bring jobs back to Detroit. Shout out to Michigan. Shout out to Benji. I'm bullish too, brother. Appreciate you for commenting. Rare earth materials in Texas and Mountain Pass, California for rare earth to feed those chips. That's all American soil. We do not have to rely on Taiwan. Data centers in Iowa, Oregon, Arizona, Nevada, and more. Apple American Manufacturing Program, this is called. NVIDIA is also giving us $500 billion. Micron, $200 billion. This is freaking insane. Trump is still going. Let's listen back on what he's saying.
But really, we have the greatest armed forces in the world, but that was really something. In fact, there's a model of the plane right there. So, you got to bring that up, Susie. We have to see that. Look at this. This was just given to me. We ordered brand new B-2 bombers. This is a plane that over a period of 36 hours of constant flying. Look at this. So this is the brand new one they just ordered. Similar, but actually quite different. It's new and enhanced. It's an amazing machine. It went 36 hours. We had 52 tankers up in the air loading up our planes because this was surrounded by F-22s and F-35s, and it was flawless, Tim. Even you would say it was flawless. And every one of those bombs hit their target. And then we had Tomahawks shot in from a submarine 300 miles away, and they hit every single Tomahawk hit its target. It was amazing. And that was a big threat. That was a nuclear threat.
I do want to comment on one thing too as he's talking. Something that he mentioned is Apple will be not tapping into the electrical grid on some of these big data centers, etc., which is huge. Because as we know, in order to make AI happen, all these fun ideas, the cool things that the NVIDIAs, the Apples, the Metas, all these tech companies are going to make money from in the future on AI, right now, it's not even physically possible to do because our energy grid is shot. So in order to produce and make that much power, we can't even do that at the moment. So we have to look at nuclear energy, different ways to consume energy. And Donald Trump said to Tim Cook just confirmed it just now, 5-10 minutes ago, they're not tapping into the grid for that electricity. Apple will be making their own electricity. So that is huge. If we continue to see more things like this, the sky's the limit. We have crypto projects that I've been covering here. Render, for example, where you can lend your GPU power to small businesses in order to use that for AI for computing, for machine learning, etc., whatever it's going to be. So we now have, not only is Donald Trump making the United States the leader in this, but we're doing it efficiently, and we're bringing home the smartest minds in the goddamn world, not offshoring them to build in America. And that's just going to have a trickle down domino effect onto everywhere else in the country, in the world. India is now the #1 manufacturer of iPhones, I believe, just past China. That's going to happen in the United States now. So as long as we're leading the forefront, historically, any time the United States has led on any innovation like this, the reverberating effect, I definitely screwed that up twice, effect that it has in the entire world is just only extremely positive and beneficial. So the fact that the Orange Man is securing that we're leading with AI and crypto and blockchain and machine learning is massive. Let's listen in.
Are you considering taking over the DC police? Is that an option on the table?
We're considering it, yeah, because the crime is ridiculous. I could show you a chart comparing DC to other locations, and you're not going to want to see what it looks like. It was just up on television, actually, they were showing it. Now, we want to have a great, safe capital, and we're going to have it. And that includes cleanliness, and it includes other things. We have a capital that's very unsafe. You know, we just almost lost a young...
Yeah, so what was his name? Big Balls or something like that? The guy that was at Doge just got attacked. That's what he's referencing right now in DC. But just to keep it back on the markets and everything, guys, Benjamin, I appreciate the comment. 6 months from now, when these things have a chance to take effect, when wars have ended, when policies have had a chance, crypto will explode. For many reasons, I think this is true, and I agree with you. Number one, Donald Trump said himself just a couple of days ago, he said in 6 months from now, he thinks things are going to boom. Just things take time to work through getting into the markets. All that 17 trillion that we're seeing from investments, you know, that doesn't mean tomorrow stock market goes crazy. No, things take time. So with Jerome Powell cutting the rates possibly next month, even if he waits till October or December, even if he does wait until December, let's say, things would really go crazy in 6 months. Donald Trump just said 5 minutes ago in the speech too, he says, well, wait till next year, because next year, I think, you know, everything that we're seeing now, things are going to go crazy. So I'm pretty sure they're going to wrap this up here in a bit. We've been live already for an hour and 12 minutes because we had to wait for this damn guy for like 40 of those minutes. But I mean, everything we just listened to is absolutely insane.
Care of it. You're gonna be safe. You're gonna be safe walking down streets. You're not gonna get mugged.
Mr. President, if you do reach a deal with Ukraine and Russia, would you drop the additional tariffs on India?
Well, we'll determine that later. But right now they're paying a 50% tariff. Okay.
Yeah, please. One for Mr. Cook as well.
Yeah, please. Sure.
The president wants a made in the USA iPhone. What are the chances that you can actually make that happen?
Well, if you look at the bulk of it, doing a lot of the semiconductors here, we're doing the glass here, we're doing the Face ID module here, and so there's a ton of it, and we're doing these for products sold elsewhere in the world. And so there's a lot of content in there from the United States.
So what about the whole thing?
We're very proud of it.
Can you make the whole thing
is
here?
just the final assembly that you're focused on, and that will be elsewhere for a while.
He makes many of the components here, and we've been talking about it, and the whole thing is set up at other places, and it's been there for a long time. So in terms of the cost and all, but I think we may incentivize him enough that one day he'll be bringing that. But he brings most of the stuff. Look, he's not making this kind of an investment anywhere in the world, not even close. He's coming back. I mean, Apple's coming back to America. Thank you.
Indian officials
Let me go. Please.
Indian officials have said that there are other countries that are buying Russian oil.
It's okay.
Like China, for instance,
It's
buys
okay.
more.
Yeah.
Why are you singling India out for these additional
It's
sanctions?
only been 8 hours. So let's see what happens over the next.
Sanctions
You're going to see a lot more.
So this is a taste of
You're
what's
going to
to
see a
come.
lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, you were the driving force behind Operation Warp Speed, these mRNA vaccines that are the gold standard.
Right.
Now your health secretary is pulling back all the funding for research. He's saying that the risks outweigh the benefits, which puts him at odds with
Research
the
on
entire
what?
medical community and with you. What is going
Yeah,
on
research on what?
into mRNA vaccines?
Well, we're going to look at that. We're talking about it, and they're doing a very good job. And, you know, that is a past. With Operation Warp Speed was, whether you're Republican or Democrat, considered one of the most incredible things ever done in this country. The efficiency, the way it was done, the distribution, and everything about it has been amazing. But, you know, that was now a long time ago, and we're on to other things. But we are speaking about it. We have meetings about it in tomorrow at 12 o'clock, and we'll determine. We're looking for other answers to other problems, to other sicknesses and diseases. And I think
Imagine able to build an app with your name on it. Thinking about it, meet Base 40.
Wars in the Middle East. Now Prime Minister Netanyahu is contemplating reoccupying Gaza entirely. Is he defying you, sir, or are you giving him a green light?
And I'm muted. All right, now they're talking about things where we're not going to sit here and talk about this right now. Let's just keep it positive. There's so much going on. So much was just said. All right. I mean, this is absolutely insane. So much was just said, guys. I'm going to end it there because there's just way too much stuff. I mean, everything he just said. We're going to put Coinbase back on the screen just to end it here, to end what I was saying before, talking about Polkadot. Just did the recap of everything that Tim Cook and Donald Trump just talked about. Insane amounts of capital are flowing into the United States, and it's very good to see. An entire iPhone will now be able to be made using 24 different states, plenty of labor, 20,000 jobs just on production line assembly, close to 450,000 globally. So many of that in the United States, Tim Cook said. This is crazy. So much money, so much capital is being thrown at the US. Apple is giving $600 billion, NVIDIA $500 billion. Production lines are going to be made. Data centers in Arizona, Texas Instruments. There's so much going on. Very positive, bullish news. And leading into the end of the year here, you know, going into Q3, Q4, I think things are just going to continue to be on an upward trend. The economists got inflation wrong quarter over quarter so far, it seems. So even if the Fed and Jerome Powell or economists are expecting a slight tick up because of the tariffs that were just announced 5 days ago, I mean, they could easily be wrong. And maybe that's a good thing. If, let's say they say, oh, inflation's going to be this, and then it's lower, I mean, things would explode. If the rates get lowered, things would explode. All right. But Benjamin number one, since we got two Benjis here. Good stream, brother. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, Benjamin. The second Benjamin now. There's two Benjis. When we looked at XYO, I was looking at that chart and I said, you know, it had that bump in the November, December timeframe. You want to see that when we had cryptos go up when Trump took office, but we didn't really see that with Polkadot. I mean, maybe a little bit, I guess we kind of did a little bit, but wasn't really too significant. I mean, we were up $52 Polkadot in 2021. Chat, let me know in the comments. I'm just bringing this up because, I mean, Polkadot it makes sense. It's a layer zero, right? A layer zero, how it works. And 8% APY staking, higher on different places, I believe. That's pretty enticing. Cosmos is like 14%. There's not that many that's like high like that. Solana, you can probably get 6%, you know, some places. That's all very enticing. But if, you know, you don't really see anything happening with the chain, very interesting. Not that good. We'll see, though. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Polkadot's dead. That's not what I'm going to say. That's just what I'm seeing. The sentiment that I'm seeing is that's what people are saying. But again, guys, the point here is we just covered a really amazing bullish news with Apple, with Donald Trump. And yes, we saw some red days. Yes, last week we didn't get what we wanted from Jerome Powell. But if you're here and you just got into crypto recently and you're looking for overnight 100Xs, like, you guys got to chill the hell out. I guarantee you half of the 500 people that are with me right now have been in crypto for a long time. maybe a couple of years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 7 years, maybe 8 years, etc., maybe more. The game is patience. Patience is rewarding. You make sound investments based off of things that you've done a shit ton of research on and that you believe in. Yes, the pudgy penguins of the world can come along and it could be fun to throw a couple $100s in to see what happens, but that's not a sound long-term investment. So again, if you're here in this space and you hold ETH or you hold a top coin like Solana, Cardano, Hyperliquid or whatever, and you're upset you haven't seen the gains that you want yet, you got to take a chill pill. You got to relax and you got to zoom out because this is a long-term game. 2030 is probably when I'm going to, I don't know, sell off a lot in a large part. Maybe not forever, maybe not all of it, but I feel like if I wait till then, another 4 years plus, I mean, the appreciation on what I'm holding now, it has to be insane. I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but that's where my mind's at. This next bull run, people are saying the 4-year cycles will be dead. So maybe you won't even take till 2030. Maybe things will be completely different. Who knows? Chat, let me know in the comments. I mean, hour 20 on the live, guys. Appreciate all of you who are here with me. Let me know what you're holding in the comments. This morning we covered Ripple. Let's see what Ripple's price action is doing. Down 2% on the week. Still up 30% on the month. Still crushing it on the year, basically 400%. Ripple is still having individuals come after them. 42 banks are trying to block Ripple from getting their banking license. That just makes me like it more. Again, I'll use the analogy. It's what they did to Trump the past year as he campaigned. Well, since 2015, 16, really, since he's been campaigning them. What they try to do? They try to vilify him, make him seem like a horrible person. They try to block him from running for president again. They try to throw him in jail. They even tried to assassinate him. But what did that in turn end up doing? It made people vote for him. It made people like him more. That's exactly what you're doing right now with Ripple. If the entire banking infrastructure and entire traditional banking system is coming after Ripple, you guys are just exposing yourselves. You're going to create these freaking, like, the XRP community is already freaking insane. Now you're going to create the most insane maxis. Like, we're going to have a Paul Pelosi situation here. Like, someone's going to show up at Jamie Dimon's house and be like, it's your time to go, sir. Like, you're creating a very bullish landscape for XRP holders and for people who maybe were hesitant to buy XRP. It's going to backfire because at the end of the day, this administration will make sure of it that these crypto firms win. Trump is about to do this executive order. Whether he did it or not, we looked at Paul Barron's tweet. We'll find out more information on that. Guys, it's been an hour 22. If you are with me and you guys haven't subbed yet or follow us on X, make sure to do that for me. Like I said, we're always going live every single day. Go watch our last video on YouTube about Donald Trump and Ethereum. That is a huge, huge situation. If you don't know what's happening with Trump and ETH and World Liberty Fi, I really implore you to go watch our last video. The Coinzone on YouTube. Once again, guys, I'm Crypto with Paul. If you guys like this and you felt like you got value out of this stream, please do me a favor and subscribe to our channel because we really work our butts off for you guys. All right. And yeah, I love all of you for streaming. That's a bit excessive. I don't know any of you, but I appreciate you for joining because I've had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. So I will see you next time in another stream. Till then, guys, take care.